put on a show at this famous theater.
People are numb, disconnected. We're gonna wake them up with a wave of passion they've never felt before.
Hell yeah.
That's right. Channing Tatum is back as Magic Mike, and he's going to get you up out of your seat in the third installment of a series that began more than 10 years ago. Magic Mike's Last Dance hits theaters today. Eli Glasner joins us with all the salacious details. I would not be able to go into the weekend without one of your movie reviews, and when I heard it was Magic Mike, tell us all about it.
Yeah, we're going to brighten up. This has been a tough week, so we're going to change that tune right now. So we start and a little bit of negativity. Pandemic's been rough on everyone, even Magic Mike. When we first meet him, not so magical. Busted back down to bartending, just working at some fancy fundraiser. The furniture business he dreamt of, well, that got destroyed by the pandemic like so many things. So he's just a guy doing some gigs. But as this fancy schmancy fundraiser winds down, the wealthy host, played by Salma Hayek, well, she hears about another service that Mike used to provide. Now, at this point, Mike is hung up his thong. He's retired, so the former male stripper decides to quote her a price. $60,000. Let's watch.
$60,000?
Yeah, 60. Let's call it 60.
What the f do you do? She said it was a silly dance.
Who said that? Kim said that? It was silly?
Yeah, she said it was a silly dance, but that it would get my mind off of things. And if she's right, I'm willing to pay $6,000.
What? You're serious right now? You're gonna pay me $6,000 to give you a dance?
She is, and she does. She does. And so Mike has to get ready, does a little bit of set decor, rearranges the furniture, checks some of the walls for kind of structural load-bearing needs to know that it will support him and her. And then Max, there she is, gets her performance. Now, Hannah, in the world of dance, there are masters, right? Think of Gregory Hines, the tap dancer. Think of Karen Kane, one of Canada's greatest ballerinas. And Channing Tatum, well, if dry humping was an art, he would be Picasso. With more grinds than Starbucks during the morning rush, Mike goes to work. They're both fully clothed, but as you could see, it is sensual, it's seductive, and when they're finished, Max was so moved, she invites him to London. Now that is a dance. So here we get to the thrust of the story. She's a wealthy socialite in the middle of a divorce, and she's hired Mike to put on a show in this theater that she technically controls. Now, Mike has been many things: a carpenter, a furniture guy, yes, a male stripper, but now she's introducing him to the new cast as her creative artistic director. Take a look.
Without further ado, I give you the visionary artist, Magic Mike.
So,
Out of his depth there.
no one's believed in me.
Oh my gosh, you have me giggling with all your descriptors behind the scenes. Okay, so it's been over a decade. I needed this laugh so bad, Eli. It's been over a decade since Mike was first introduced to the world.
Yeah.
Is it worth it 3 times?
You know, I don't know if the world was waiting for Magic Mike #3, but I was. I loved the original film. This is what we're looking at from 2012, directed by Steven Soderbergh, the guy who gave us Ocean's 11, the guy who gave us Aaron Brockovich. Yes, that is Matthew McConaughey. This movie had the moves, but I would say under the salacious performance, and they are certainly salacious, there was actually a fantastic story about these men caught up in this gratuitous lifestyle who want the American dream but need to keep getting that cash just to survive. So it was fantastic. I've always liked Channing Tatum, and I love it when a dance movie works. Now, the second movie, not so much, but #3, Soderbergh has come back to direct. Tatum has signaled this is probably his last time as Mike, but I hate to say the weakest part of The Last Dance is when the dancing stops, when it comes to the connection between Max and Mike. I mean, there's this whole, like, will they, won't they, she's the boss, he's the employee. It's supposed to be platonic, but he's now living in her flat in London with her daughter and her butler, and all of that tension, all of that rom-com kind of weak sauce was just contrived and didn't convince me. Hannah, I was just waiting for the music and the tune so we could get back to watching the good stuff again.
Okay, drat. I was hoping that they might have a connection. Okay, if Magic Mike Part 3 is about the moves, how's the show?
All right, so here's what the show's supposed to be like in the movie, and then I'm going to tell you how this actually came about. In the film, they've taken, believe it or not, a Victorian classic and reworked it to be an ode to female pleasure, like this.
So what's this show about?
It's the same old will she marry for love or money?
So what does she pick? Love or money?
The real question is, why does she feel like she has to choose?
It sounds to me she just needs to let go.
Now, here's the real story. For a while now, Steven Soderbergh said no more Magic Mike movies. He was working on a Broadway production, Magic Mike the early years, believe it or not.
Ooh.
But meanwhile, Channing Tatum and his dance partner had been creating Magic Mike live performances like this one. This is the London production of Magic Mike Live. And Soderbergh went to see that and was so excited, he went, aha, here's my new movie. I'm going to tell you the story of how Mike made this show. And now, Hannah, it makes sense. This is why the love story is so limp, because the thing that he's really engaged at is the whole behind-the-scenes stuff of how you make a show, doing the auditions, finding the dancers. Now, and that's why it makes sense. Now, when it's all said and done, we have a movie that ends with a half-hour climax of men on stage performing for a theater filled with women. And you can question whether a chorus line of dry humping he-men is exactly what women want. But it's fun, and it's loose, and it's joyous. And I will leave you with one last dance I want to show you. This is a version from the London production that they've taken into the movie. This is Channing Tatum and Kylie Shea, an American ballerina, on a water-soaked stage. They do this amazing performance with the two dancers sliding and smashing across the stage and over each other's bodies. And then they're cutting back and forth between shots of the relationship and shots of the dancer. And for a brief moment, Hannah, I actually cared about Max and Mike. And that saved it for me and earns 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars. Okay, I'm going to tell my husband that we have to watch it then.
There you go. Get to the theater.
Okay, thanks, Eli. Thanks for making my cheeks smile.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Thank you.